Hello everybody and welcome to the NASCAR Pokemon Cup Series Season 4 World Tour. After the first 5 races of the World Tour were in Canada, we are finally heading over to Europe, particularly Spain's very own Road of Steel for the running of 22 NASCAR Nuts Espana 200. Molto bella! Yeah, I know it doesn't fit, but oh well. Anyway, so we're here live at Spain's Road of Steel. A lot of twists, turns, up and down in this track, and it's surely going to be a wreck fest. I can promise you that. It is one of 2 races in the World Tour in Europe. This is the first one. The other one is the next one, which will be in Hogebahn in Munich, Germany. But for now, we're in the running of the Bulls Nation, Spain, here for today's race. On the pole today, it is the 40 of Colin McNaught for like the umpteenth time. Not sure how he is on the pole most of these races, but well, I don't know how. I didn't set them up; they were just randomized. But McNaught's won his so-called umpteenth pole. Well, we'll see if this time would finally be a victory. Will it finally be a win? We're about to find out. Kyle Beck in the 20 starts on his outside, and Jacob Lawler will start third in the one machine. Austin Geip will be in 4th. Jonathan Thoman starts in 5th. Chris Harley is back from his 1-race suspension. He'll be starting in 6th. As you recall, he was suspended last race for a spoiler he posted at 3:49. Starting 7th is the 5, John Radican, and 8th is the 15, Nick Parasols. 9th is the 4, George Rourke, and rounding out the top 10, the 22 of Abby Sachs. Nice to have a breath of fresh air out of Canada and getting the World Tour into Europe. So we'll see how it goes as we're about to hear those famous words in motorsports.
Drivers, start your engines!
Cars are rolling off the track. And they're a little bunched up, but that's how it starts out here at the Road of Spain. 16 laps navigating through zigs and zags, left and right, up and down, in almost every direction. This is going to be one heck of a race here at a road course, known for its hills and zills, and spills too. Here we go, pace car is coming up to the uphill pit road. It has the highest pit road hill ever of any NR 2003 track. Its hill is almost like that stunt track. But hopefully they'll slow down as much as possible and they'll get through this race. There can only be one winner as the green flag waves at the Road of Steel. Like I said, oh, Nick McNaught just got a little loose back there, almost flipped over, and that's how hard these turns are to navigate because these turns are really tight. And I mean tight. There's like no room for error here at Road of Spain. And Jacob Lawler takes advantage and just zooms by to the lead. Jonathan Thoman all of a sudden is now in 3rd. Oh, that wall, they've got to be careful too because that wall is a toughie. Chris Harley's using it to his advantage. He zooms by 3rd. Earlier we saw Jonathan Thoman took the 3rd spot. Here they come, the uphill final turn. It is a long straightaway to the finish. It's a long and uphill straightaway to finish. And the first lap's going to be led by Jacob Lawler. Sorry about that. Yeah. Here comes Chris Harley. He's looking to return from his 1-race suspension. If you didn't know already, Harley was suspended last race for a spoiler he posted at 3:49, and I hate to tell everyone, I hate to remind everyone of this rule, but no spoilers. Again, no spoilers. because I've seen a lot of the drivers spoiled, and I had to sit a couple of them out because of the spoilers. And I really don't want any more spoilers posted, so please don't do so. Otherwise, yeah, you know what happens. Whoa! John Radigan got too loose in the wall. George Rourke going for third, and Radigan's trying to get out of it. And here they come towards that final straightaway. Let's go on board Lawler and see how this straightaway is pretty tough. See that uphill? It is uphill to the start-finish line. And this is pretty much going to be a tour around the track. As you see, the first turn actually turns out to be a little easy. It's a normal left turn. Well, yeah, as NASCAR usually takes left turns, not much right turns, by the way. It's a normal left turn, then you had to brake on the left turn because there was a slow straightaway coming down. A downhill zig curve turn follows, and then it shifts over to the right. And then it goes down to the S curve where it's downhill, uphill. In no particular order, but it's a weird pattern. And then they head on over to a fast straightaway where if they get too fast, they may miss on this braking point, and they would go up on the wall. That's why you see a lot of these drivers hit the wall there, because there's little reaction time in terms of turning that left wall. Then another S-curve, another mini S-curve, not as big as the last one, heading to turn to the right turn, and then it's back to the uphill final stretch, where the start-finish line meets. And that right there is a tour of the road of Spain. Jacob Lawler has been untouchable since the first lap, pretty much, the very first lap. Oh, 3 wide behind him, including host driver Daniel Day. Forgot to mention, Daniel Day is the host of this race, and he's not doing too good for this crowd, for his track, for his fans. Colin McNaught, the pole setter. I'm surprised he's still second. I'm surprised we haven't even had a caution here so far. A lot of these drivers have side damage. If we don't have another caution quick, pretty soon it's gonna wear and tear these drivers very soon. I got a feeling. Here comes the hard turn, the nearly unavoidable turn. And they all got a little piece of it. Here they come, other drivers taking it. Uh-oh, 4 wide battle behind. 4 wide is never good. I thought it was 4 wide for a second. It was like 4 wide for about a brief second. Now that the storm's calmed. But we might see a storm coming up soon here at Road of Steel if these guys aren't too careful. We're in lap number 5 right now. No driver has led every lap in a NASCAR Pokemon Cup Series race yet. This season so far. So far this season, no driver has led every lap en route to the victory. It's always been a twist and turns, an unpredictable kind of season for these guys. Lawler trying to change that, trying to dominate and survive Road to Spain. Lawler won 2 races, I think 2 or 3 races last season as the 51 machine, and he had a couple wins actually in season 2. And I think it was in season 1. I think he's one of the very few drivers who have stuck around for the series since season 1, which is really impressive. Oh, and there's a spin with Colin McNaught and John Radigan. Rowan was talking about the one these both drivers spun, and both are running in the top 5. They do save it though, they prevent a wreck, but the caution is out. And guess what? George Rourke just took the lead. Just when we talk about Lawler, George Rourke will lead under the caution flag. What a shocking twist of events. Tough break for the 5 and the 40. Were running really well in the top 5, and then they both were victims of the hard, impossible wall, and both got contact spinning out. There you see McNaught was battling for second, and then 40 clipped it, and he takes out John Radigan along with them. And wow, no one else was involved in the wreck. They all made it through safely. No one else got involved. Thank goodness. It would have been a disaster. And George Rourke used this as an advantage, as an opportunity, because he was the only one of the line that did not have contact with the wall, and so was Radican, but you know, he spun. And when Lawler hit the wall, Rourke just zoomed by the one machine and took the lead away. He could have come at a better time for the four machine, and the no-hitter is now gone. So we have a different leader for the first time here today, in the form of George Rourke. He has not had a great season so far. He is nearly dead last in that he's in the bottom 40 of the standings, in the 40s. And this win would really help his team a lot, and hopefully it could be a Cinderella. It could start up a Cinderella story. Could he make his comeback? Well, that's going to have to wait because drivers are pitting now. With all the damage they've suffered during the first caution, with all the wall hitting they've done, it's no surprise they're pitting right now. And breaking news, points leader Ryan Acosta's retired, and so has the 19 of David Rochester. And Lawler has just retired. He was involved in the first caution before. And Michel Samedi has retired. Why all of a sudden we have retirees? Oh, wow. Yikes. A lot of them got dumped. Yeah, dumped. Wow. Unfortunately, I lost the footage to see how they got dumped. But nevertheless, a lot of these suffered damage trying to even get in pit road. Even pit road is hectic for these drivers. And Iguchi came out first. Wow, Makoto Iguchi came out first on pit stops. And I hope Rourke wasn't involved. Colin McNaught, Zach Robinson, Ethan Hamill had damage. They retired. Wow, what a shocker. If that wreck wasn't shocking enough, George Rourke couldn't make it out. He was involved in those mess-ups. And on top of that, Samedi and the others have to pit under but just before the green flag. And Scott Ferguson will take the lead with 9 laps to go. One of them is smoking as well as we speak. I think half the damaged cars are pitting just before the green flag. I have never seen anything like this. I wonder how many drivers are still in the running of this win. The green is out again. Ferguson just is off. He's off for the comfortable lead. No surprise. I think he's probably the only driver left that didn't have any damage in pit road. He's going to have to sometime, but because of the slowness. And wow, what a shocker. A lot of drivers out of the race already because of pit road catastrophe. Has this been a really heck of an unpredictable race here today? We never expected any of these drivers to even be in contention for the win. But nevertheless, they're still in contention, and all are trying to catch up to Scott Ferguson. Ferguson went off to probably the best restart anyone could ever have. Oh no, look at that! He has damage in his grill, but yet he's still running fast, and he's still up to speed. Oh no, he's slowing down. Dylan Young is catching up quick. Dylan Young, look at him catching up quick. He just took a bite out of his lead. One driver's pitting again. As we're halfway through with 8 to go, it's still not over. And Ferguson is indeed the leader after the stripe, and I thought they'd never score that, but they do. Here comes Dylan Young. Here he comes for the lead. Young trying to finally win in a Pokemon Cup Series race. He's been so close so many times in his career. This could be the one. And he's battling against his Turner Motorsports teammate. Other two, LaPlante and Acosta, were victims of the pit road incident. And Acosta is going to be a big dip in the points. He's going to lose the cushion he had and maybe only have a little cushion heading over to the second race at Hogabon. Kyle Beck running in third. I'm surprised he survived the top 5. Chris Harley's in second, and we see other drivers damaged, and Kyle Beck gaining up for second. Chris Harley trying to make a comeback trail after being suspended last race. He's dropped to 5th because Abby Sachs made the pass on the 70. And here comes Sachs' teammate, the 12 of Rod Houston. I think one race Sachs won. They were 1-2. They're trying to do the same thing again. You see a lot of them are still pitting, but not the 32, Dylan Young. He's leading with 7 laps to go. Like I said, Young has been in the series since season 2. He's been so close so many times, and he's always fallen short. This could be the race. Like I said, this could be the race that he redeemed himself, and he finally wins. And it would be helpful for Turner Motorsports. That would make 3 of the 4 drivers winners in the Pokemon Cup Series. The only one that hasn't won a race, Scott Ferguson, who took over for Austin Ogo in race 11 in Montreal. Oh no, and Acosta too. I forgot Acosta doesn't have a win this season. But, well, that wall did not help him much. It did help a little bit on Ferguson. Ferguson still trying to close on his teammate. Not being friends with the teammate right now as we approach the track with 7 laps to go. And the other drivers are all just trying to play catch up with the other field, trying to at least save this from becoming a disaster. At least trying to have a couple drivers in the mix so we can spice up the intensity. 6 to go. And to think this pit road disaster was all caused by the first caution today, which only involved 2 drivers, John Radican and Colin McNaught. And then after the caution, it got screwy. It got mixed up from there. A lot of drivers retired. A lot of drivers still stuck on pit road for whatever reason. Don't know. I guess they want to try to get to race someone and continue. Or otherwise, they're just sitting there just thinking about their strategy for Hagabond next race. I'm thinking they're doing the ladder. Oh, Harley almost got loose back there. He saved it though. 3-wide battle between the orange cars. Kyle Beck, Abby Sachs, and Houston. And Rod Houston takes the advantage. Mark Matthews trying to break up the party. And I think the caution's out. Must have been for the second time today. And yes, indeed, the caution's out for the second time with 5 laps to go. 5 to go, and the caution hit. And let's see what the second caution was out for. Even though it's 5, we hit the caution flag with 5 laps to go. Since this road courses usually take only 2 laps of caution, we're gonna get about, I think, between 2 or 3 laps left in the race. And from what I could tell, I haven't seen anyone spin out. No. I was wrong. I thought it was for just debris, but, well, we had a wreck. And it was at the same turn where Colin McNaught and John Radican wrecked out. There you see the 16 Billy Bishop get too high and then eclipse Jonathan Thoman and Austin Gipe. They were one of the few drivers to survive over pit road, but unfortunately their day is just not even going to get any better with that kind of wreck. But with all the drivers retired, they could still save a top 10 finish, maybe even a good finish. So even with that wreck, they could still have a good finish because they were one of the few. They were one of there were like 15 drivers on the lead lap right now. I know it's freaky, but well, stuff happens. Scott Ferguson pits out, and I think he's the only driver to pit, so he's going to have a clean stop likely. They're going to try to fix this car to save anything in order to save energy and probably something, or either that or he's just giving in. We'll have to find out. Oh no, he's not giving in. He's going to race again. He just lost second. He's just trying to fix the most damage he could possibly bring under his strategy. So it's official, we're going to have 3 more laps to go here at Road of Spain. If we get another caution flag during the period, the race is over. We get it before we get 2 laps to go regardless, no matter when the caution comes out. If there is one, the race is over officially. So Dylan Young hoping there's a caution to come out because he's going to have a pack of hungry but damaged cars to face here at Road of Spain. Here we go. Green flag is out again with 3 to go. Chris Harley moves to second after Ferguson pitted. Harley, this could be a comeback, like I said, if he gets this win. So a lot of streaks are on the line. A lot of interesting stories for the drivers if they win are on the line, but only one of them can be true. Only one of them will have the true story. Oh, 20 just got a hard hit back there. They're heading towards the impossible wall. Who's going to survive the impossible wall? That's the question. Dylan is hoping that his 2 competitors can survive the impossible wall because he knows he can't avoid it. Here we go, impossible wall coming out. The hard braking begins. And there's only 3 drivers in contention to win. Here it comes! Good news, the other 3 suffer damage. 2 to go. Bad news, it's more damage to deal with. He may have to come pit road. We saw Harley pit before with 3 to go under caution. Will we see another driver surrender? Not quite. 2 more laps to go here at Road of Steel. If we get the caution, and we got the caution flag. I was going to say we got the caution flag before the white flag, the race is over. But when the caution came out with 2 to go, and I think the race is officially over. So Dylan Young for now can breathe a sigh of relief, but we've seen drivers pitting on the final lap, final turn. Especially one driver did it twice. So we'll see if Dylan Young can maintain his car in power so he can collect his win. We'll just have to wait and see. And if you're curious, for those of you who are curious what the caution was for, it was for the 99 of Pichu. In the same turn, I told you that turn is impossible to avoid. Mason Wood gets damage from Pichu. He slams Pichu in the front. Daniel Day couldn't avoid it. Ferguson, who just pitted a while ago, gets more damage from it. So his strategy will not work at the end. Weird. It seems that the drivers that pitted with just a few laps left always have the bad luck in the green flag laps. Oh well. Like I said before, stuff happens. Speaking of stuff, here they come towards the white flag lap. Is any of the drivers going to pit? With all the damage they have, it's hard not to resist pit stops. No one's pitting. Thank goodness no one in the leader is pitting, but still, we've got 1 more lap to deal with. Once again, Ferguson's pitting, but it's for damage he suffered from the 3rd and final caution of the race. There you see the caution still waving, and now the white flag waves as we're not going to get back under green like I mentioned earlier. Young takes the white flag. We've seen drivers that have taken the white flag under caution and not win the checkered flag and not take the checkered flag and win. So hopefully Dylan Young doesn't have to pit for whatever reason on the final turn and he can end his winless streak. Here we go, pit stops coming up. Let's see if Dylan Young or any of them pitted on the final turn. This is the moment of truth. No, he will not pit, but he has to keep his car in power and cross the finish line, take the checkers to win. That's still one more thing to do. And he has done it. And off the final turn, Dylan Young finally ends a winless streak and gets his first ever NASCAR Pokemon Cup Series win in the Road of Steel in Spain. That was kind of weird. The pace car just went sideways, but what does matter is that Dylan Young will be declared the race winner here at the Road of Steel in Spain. But nevertheless, Dylan Young just won the race. After 3 seasons of driving and close finishes, Dylan Young finally gets his first career Pokemon Cup Series win. A long time coming, but nevertheless, he'll be more than happy to win any way possible, even with a lot of damage in their cars. Chris Harley comes in second. What a comeback for him, though. A top 3 finish for the 70. That's his best finish of the season, and he comes back from a 1-race suspension with that finish. Impressive. Rod Houston will be 3rd, Mark Matthews 4th, Alan Smith 5th, Kyle Beck 6th, Abby Sachs 7th, Billy Bishop 8th, Jonathan Thoman will be ruled in 9th, and Leo Walker will be in the number 10 will be 10th. The number 10 will finish in 10th today. And surprise, Bullet Bishop was the second caution victim, and I told you with the lack of cars, he can still produce a finish even after he spins, so that goes to show you. Ferguson, by the way, retired in 15th, and the rest of the field below, as you see on your screen. And you can see how many drivers were involved in the pit road calamity. So finally, Dylan Young wins in a Pokemon Cup Series race. Congrats to the 32 machine completing the win. Remember I said the points lead was going to shrink after this race because Acosta retired? Well, it has shrunk ginormously. Just a 43-point difference over Austin LaPlante. If LaPlante were to win in Hogabon and Acosta would finish in dead last, it's likely that LaPlante would take the points lead. But you never know what happens, so we'll see. Avi Sachs still up in 3rd, 63 points. Those 3 wins and the 5 top 5s are starting to add up now. He's now in contention for the championship. Billy Bishop is in 4th. Kyle Sanoski 5th, just a point behind Bishop. Austin Geik moves up to 6th. James Shelley to 7th. Pichu to 8th. Jonathan Thoman is up to 9th. And Zach Robinson knocks Dustin Ray out of the top 10 in the 87 car. Mark Matthews and Makoto Iguchi in 21st and 22nd. 23rd and below are on the screen. So that'll do it here. And by the way, in case of you wondering where Chris Harley would be, Harley is 25th in the standings after the suspension. LaPlante, despite missing 1 race due to his suspension, he's in 2nd in the points. I wonder if he had race in that 1 race, he probably would have been the leader by now. But, well, next race will be at Hogabon Super Speedway in Munich, Germany. The 2nd European race in the World Tour. And then it's our 2 trips to Japan after this race. So, hope you stick around for Hogabon, and we'll see you later.